Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. And for the first time in a while, this is a Doest basketball and this is for the Adidas Ultraboost 2021. So does this shoe basketball? It has a thick ass boost midsole. Is it comfortable and does it work for basketball? This is 180 bucks. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and the Tracciones is good. It has a really good solid bite, very consistent. I actually had no issues with it sliding out ever, like when I was playing with it. So it was a really good traction pattern. As far as the durability goes, durability seems pretty good. You know, I couldn't play in it and test it like all the way because there were some issues with the shoe and I couldn't really test it all the way because I would get hurt if I kept playing it. So right now, from what I'm seeing, it looks pretty good, but take that with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously, they're Ultra Boost, you know what I'm saying? So there's the durability there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, it's super smooth. It's a running shoe. So when you're running down the court, I mean, I don't know why Adidas does this in their basketball shoes, but in their ball shoes, it's super flat. So for example, here in the next level, look, you guys see how flat this is? So it's a slapper and then it's very clunky, right? And the same thing goes for the Harden Volume 5. But here in their running shoes, they do a really good job in keeping a very, like a U shape. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very smooth heel to toe transition. You have a lot of heel compression and a lot of forefoot flex. So running down the court and heel to toe transition is super smooth and very fluid. I don't know why they can't translate this into their ball shoes. You know, like some of their ball shoes, like the Dame 7, do a good job, but for example, this didn't really do a good job, you know? All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. Full length boost, how is it? It's nice. You know, they haven't really been using like crazy thick boost midsoles as of like recently for the past like year or two. Kind of sad. They've been kind of moving towards light strike, but I understand, you know, boost is a little bit heavier, but it feels nice. You know, impact protection is really good, as you guys probably already knew. There is a good amount of compression. It's soft, not super bouncy though. There is a little bit of rebound back, but it's not like super bouncy like Zoom or React. It's more on the softer side of things, but it's still nice. You know, I feel like if you're heavier, the heel would be a little too much and a little too soft and not as responsive as most people would probably want their shoes, but it's still nice. And I wish companies would do this. You know, a lot of times you find companies where they cage it up like crazy. You know, they have a nice cushioning setup. They do too much to it and it just becomes like something else, you know, like way too stiff. They cage it up so it's not as nice. Why can't they just do this, you know, or just make it a little bit thinner here in the heel? And that's really all you need. And then just cage it up just a tiny bit, just like right here in the heel, so you have good lateral stability and it's not unstable, and that's all you need. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why companies can't do that, and then they just find themselves doing stuff like this where they cage it up like crazy and all that. But the cushioning setup is super nice here in the Ultraboost. Moving on to the materials. Materials are super nice as well. As you guys already know, I love knits, and it's a stretchy type of knit. So it stretches over your foot. It feels very comfortable. It's a really thin material as well. So ventilation is good too. And there are ventilation holes, so airflow is good too. And it's just a really nice overall material. Super easy to put on. It is a one booty construction, so you just kind of slip it on like a sock. You have a very high heel tab here. So materials are super duper nice. Durability though is something that I don't think is going to be good for the material, obviously. It's a thin material and there's not a whole lot of fuse or anything guarding you from like toe drags. So durability is probably going to be an issue for the material. As far as the fit goes, fit is super nice. You know, I went true to my Adidas size. It fits me very well. It fits pretty much like every other Ultra Boost. It's super snug here in the toe box and it's pretty damn narrow. So just watch out if you're a wide footer, but it fits me very well. All right, here is the problem with the shoe. Everything else has been pretty damn nice. Like if this category was good, support and lockdown, this probably would be a good ball shoe. But you know, support and lockdown is terrible in this shoe, right? So lateral containment was horrendous. There's absolutely no lateral counter here in the forefoot. So like even doing like a light step back, I can feel my foot coming out of the footbed, stretching this stretchy material. Like this material isn't supportive at all. And there's nothing countering that movement. You know what I'm saying? So my foot would come out of the footbed a lot and it would just be terrible. You know, so lateral containment was very bad. Lateral stability was actually not that bad though. You know, like I said, here in the heel, it is very, very thick, the cushion, and it's very soft. So I thought it would be a little unstable, but I didn't really feel anything that felt like very, very unstable or like a problem that I couldn't, you know, play in the shoe. You know what I'm saying? So lateral stability was good, and I guess it is a pretty wide and low base here in the forefoot. It's not really an outrigger, but it does protrude out as well, so that's nice. But yeah, lateral containment was absolutely terrible in this shoe. All right, moving on to the weight. It's probably like 12 ounces, 11.25 ounces. So yeah, that's very, very light, especially for a ball shoe. And does it feel light? Yes, it does. It feels a little bottom heavy, especially here in the heel. It feels a little bulky here, but you know, it's not a huge deal. And yeah, it's a very, very nice weight for a ball shoe, and it just overall feels really nice when you're playing in it, besides the lateral containment. Like I mentioned before, ventilation is really good in this shoe. You know, the material is very thin, so it doesn't really retain heat, and there are ventilation holes here in the toe box, so ventilation is really good in the shoe. And aesthetically, it's a really nice looking shoe. You know, I don't think it looks as good as the original Ultraboost, but I feel like it looks a lot better than last year's version. It kind of looks very similar to the original Ultraboost, but a little bit different, which I like. So there's the aesthetics there. So wrapping things up, does it basketball? No. Sadly, no. I mean, if it had good lateral containment, I feel like it would be ballable. If that is that a word, ballable? I'm making it a word. It's not ballable, guys, and that's the only issue. The traction was good, cushion was good, maybe a little too soft, especially for some people, but that's okay. And the materials are nice and all that, just besides the lateral containment. So yeah, I mean, for anyone, you know, that plays ball, you probably shouldn't play in it, because if you're doing any type of like lateral movement, even if it's the slightest lateral movement, your foot's gonna come out of the footbed. So I would say you can't really ball in this, and obviously lateral containment is very, very important in a ball shoe, because you're doing a lot of lateral movements when you're playing basketball. You know, crossovers, step backs, cuts, and all these movements require the shoe to have really good lateral support, which this shoe does not have. So anyways, yeah, so the Ultraboost is not ballable, sadly, but I wish, you know, companies, especially Adidas, would just not cage up their cushion and just keep it like this, you know. But like I said, if it did have good lateral containment, I feel like this would actually be a pretty good ball shoe. But anyways, that about wraps up this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop the Ultraboost 21, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.